So switch today and say happy holidays to yourself with 50% more high-speed data. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less, only at Walmart. See terms at straighttalk.com.
This giving season, there's no better way to say happy holidays than with custom cards, calendars, and photo gifts from Vistaprint. And until December 2nd, you can get special Black Friday prices with 60% off all holiday cards and calendars at Vistaprint.com. Plus, save on other photo gifts. It's our best deal of the season. So get Black Friday prices with 60% off all holiday cards and calendars. Plus, save on other photo gifts at Vistaprint.com. Just enter promo code Radio60. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code Radio60.
It's time to say see you later, alligator, to embarrassing and troublesome issues with your skin, nails, and hair with all-natural Cayman alligator oil. Cayman oil is locally made, right in Louisiana, where people have been using alligator oil for centuries to treat all kinds of ailments. A drop a day of Cayman oil can help you say see you later, alligator, to athlete's foot, nail fungus, acne, eczema, rashes, dry skin, cuts, infections, MRSA, scars, burns, sunburns, and even ingrown hair and dandruff. If you or someone you know is tired of suffering with any of these skin, nail, and hair troubles, you need to visit mycayman.com to learn more about 100% natural, non-toxic, hypoallergenic Cayman oil and get a bottle today. Say see you later, alligator, with Cayman alligator oil at mycayman.com. That's mycayman.com. mycayman.com.
I'm so tired of the buffering on my smartphone.
I'm so over it. Next.
Right? I am so over it. Next.
A radio? Next.
No buffering, just your favorite local radio station?
Next Radio uses the FM tuner that is already built into your phone, so you can listen to your favorite stations on the go. Because Next Radio uses the FM tuner already built into your smartphone, it saves on data and battery usage. When compared to streaming audio, Next Radio uses less than 1/10 of your data, and your battery will last 3 times longer. Next Radio, it's FM radio on your smartphone.
Introducing a radio inside your cell phone. Listen to all kinds of local radio stations, including KCAA 106.5 Yucaipa and 102.3 Riverside on Next Radio. Download the free Next Radio app today. 100% free, 100% fun, 0% buffering. Stop the buffer and listen to KCAA. Welcome to another edition of The More You Know. I'm Andrew Caravella. It is Tuesday. It is November 27th. It's also Giving Tuesday. It's a global day of giving thanks that kicks off the charitable giving season. Coming just after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, it was created in part as a response to commercialism and consumerism of the days just mentioned. Best way to celebrate is getting in contact with organizations near you and seeing how you can help. Examine materials about how to be more an effective giver, as well as the Giving Tuesday Guide to Giving. If you are part of an organization, explore resources on the day's website that show how to get your group involved. Also, fun facts on this day in history: 2005 was the world's first successful partial face transplant. 2001, Hubble detected the first planetary atmosphere outside the solar system. 1989 was the world's first living liver transplant. Harvey Milk was assassinated on this day in 1978. Now born on this day, 1955, Bill Nye the Science Guy. 1942, Jimi Hendrix, and in 1940, Bruce Lee. I'm Andrew Caravella. This has been The More You Know. Happy
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone. This is Smart Health Talk radio show. And hey, just like it says in our name, we're all about being smart. Yeah, and with that takes education. So we're here to provide you with the education it takes for you to have a healthy and long life. And not just that, but safe, staying safe. And that's really hard nowadays because there are so many things that have been put into our environment that we're allowed to be put into our environment by whatever means these companies set out to use to make sure that their product could be brought to market, even though things like PCPs, DDT, various other pesticides and chemicals, they were allowed to be used, and they have accumulated in our system, in our environment, and in our body systems. There is not one single child born in this country that does not have PCBs in their body. Yes, our brand spanking new babies are born contaminated with chemicals that were used decades ago. This should make everyone stop and think about what's being allowed today. We recently had a court case with a $289 million judgment about Roundup, one of the most used pesticides in the entire world. Well, countries are starting to take action against these pesticides because they realize they're killing bees at a rate of 100%. Bees, and if the bees die, the butterflies die, and so do all the other good, well, I don't really want to say there's good and bad insects because people get mad about that. But there definitely are bad insects that can destroy entire crops. But what we're finding on the latest studies is that the people that are using pesticides actually have way more insects. So it's like the pesticides are perpetuating the problem. And in the meantime, we have other studies coming out. The latest one that just came out, it's like, oops, oh, well, let's see, those pesticides that we've been allowing to be used in our environment may not be so safe after all. It says chemicals on food, when safe, may not really be safe. What does that mean? Oh, well, that means that, yeah, they're not poisoning enough so we're dropping dead on the spot after we take a bite of food. No, what's happening is they're slowly poisoning us. They keep poisoning us with just, enough to keep us alive, but yet it's doing the damage every single day. Now, I'm a registered dietitian, but I'm way more than that. I like to think that I am, I've been studying this for so long. And I tell you, all these things that we talk about on the show, we were talking about some of these things 10 years ago. Climate change, talking about it 10 years ago. Toxic pesticides, talking about it 10 years ago. People on the news are just now starting to say the kind of things that we were saying 10 years ago. And guess what? If you would have been listening to us 10 years ago and implementing what we told you to do, well, I don't really want to say what we told you to do because even though I would like to tell you guys to do something and you just automatically do it, unfortunately that doesn't work. That doesn't work right. Because you can't really tell people what to do. They have to decide that they want to do it. So we try to provide you with the information that you will want to make your own decisions based on that. And hopefully you're making decisions that are going to be protecting you and your family. And number one thing is get the pesticides out. You don't even need them. When you buy organic, it's pretty much pesticide free. There may be a little bit of residue from some other farm because it's hard to be perfect in today's environment. But you are reducing your pesticide load for your entire family. And this whole thing about, oh, I can't afford organic is just so untrue. I mean, there are so many products. I could stand there and look at the shelf and it will be on sale, organic, the same price as like these name brands, or even the same price as the sale item, or even the lowest price. I have seen that as well for like store brands where it's a generic type of brand. You can find all kinds of things organic. And then when you go to the farmer's market, you cut out the middleman, you cut out a broker fee. That's the sales guy. You cut out the distributor fee. That's the truck that gets it there. You cut out the retail shelf fee, which is the store and everything it costs to run a store, employees, electricity, building, all that stuff. You don't have to pay for any of that. No, you just go buy it right from the farmer. And guess what? That farmer gets ripped off so friggin' bad. When you go buy directly from the farmer, do you know what a good thing that is? I mean, those people are the ones taking all the risks, and everyone else is making money off their hard work. Farmers, especially organic farmers, I mean, why would you not want to go buy directly from them? Now, I want to just take you through a little exercise here and see if maybe I can change your mind just a little bit, okay? Now, what we reported on this show is laws were changed as a result of Perdue being the Secretary of Agriculture. Okay, Sonny Perdue, yeah. He has changed the laws for rice to be imported into this country. Rice, we have no GMO rice. There is no GMO rice in the world except in China. China created their own GMO rice, which is, I mean, has that been tested on people? No. No, we are the guinea pigs. We are the guinea pigs of this laboratory creation that is called food. I'm sorry, but I don't want it, for one thing. We don't even know if what you're eating is GMO. You don't know if it came from China. And with every GMO comes Roundup. Oh yeah, that pesticide I said, there was a $289 million judgment for the plaintiff who was a janitor exposed to Roundup in his job. And yeah, he has terminal cancer. Okay? They don't test these products. They test like glyphosate, but there is like about, who knows, it could be over 100 other ingredients in Roundup. They don't even have to tell us what they are. They're secret. And those 100 ingredients, including glyphosate, have never been tested when they were mixed together. They're only tested by themselves. Oh, we test this alone. Oh, it's safe. Oh, but when we mix it with 100 other chemicals, what chemical does that make? And is that chemical toxic? No, those things have not been tested. Okay, I want to tell you a story about chicken. How many fast food restaurants have some sort of a chicken product? And we know the one that has the most, KFC. Well, they want to increase their profit. So how are they going to do that? Because right now, well, the way the system was before Sonny is we had growing the chickens here in our factory farms, shipping them to China. They process them there, turn them into chicken nuggets, and ship them back here. But now we have changed the process. So now, just think about this. And this is why I do the show. And this is why I'm even telling you this right now. I want you to picture chickens being raised in China. Just first of all, get that visual in your mind, because the chicken that you may be putting in your mouth right this second that you just got from the fast food restaurant is probably from China. Okay? So just picture in your mind where that chicken came from. It came from a Chinese factory farm. We know how bad the factory farms are here. And just to give you an example on how bad it is, when I listen to people talk about food safety, something I think I'm a pretty good expert about, and they're telling people, oh, that turkey gravy you made for Thanksgiving, you can save it one day and then you better throw it out, because there's little buggies in there that even if you boil it, they're not going to die. They're still there and they're multiplying. Why do you think that is? Is this the way we used to live? People didn't even have freaking refrigeration. Were people dropping dead of food poisoning right and left? Heck no, they weren't. And actually, things like fat, fat would actually help. You put fat on top of your meat and it preserves it. These are the old ways that people used to do things. Of course, they used to dry it out and make jerky, put salt on it, all these different things to preserve it. But people weren't dropping dead of food poisoning right and left. The thing is, these factory farms, inside of the factory farm, Salmonella, E. coli, that are resistant to antibiotics flourish. It's everywhere. It's inside of the warehouses where they keep all these chickens. Salmonella and E. coli lives in there. You have to if you want to start raising chickens at your house, you have to be careful where you order your chickens from, because the chickens will come infected. The little chicks, they're already infected with E. coli and Salmonella, because the place that makes all these chickens, breeds them, it's embedded in that facility too. And that's why they had to kill 30 million chickens about 3 years ago. Millions and millions of chickens, not just chickens, pigs. I talked to someone that they had to kill every single pig on an entire floor. And I mean, these are facilities with 1 million animals in them, living in close quarters, spreading the disease. What diseases are in the chickens from China? One thing I can tell you that they love to use in China is arsenic. And we gave warnings on our show over and over again about Chinese chicken treats. Do you have a pet? Are you giving them treats? Are you looking at where that chicken came from? Because if it says China, I would never buy it. Thousands of dogs died from Chinese chicken treats. And what did our government keep saying? Oh, we tested it, but can't seem to find anything. Couldn't find that arsenic in there, huh? So why are all these thousands of dogs dying from them? But now that's the chicken that you're getting at your fast food place. Okay? So here we are at the factory farm in China. What do you see in that factory farm? What are the conditions in that farm? Then they're processing them in a slaughterhouse in China. What is it like in that slaughterhouse in China when they're processing that chicken? I guarantee they are like putting all this stuff at super high temperatures because they got to sterilize everything. That's just dead food. It's worthless. Oh yeah, maybe it might get rid of your hunger, but is it really protecting you against disease? That kind of disease that kills you. I just came off the flu, and this was the worst kind of flu. This was the flu that's killing people because it's the kind that gets in your lungs. I am so happy to say no coughing, no lung problems. Yes, it took me 2.5 weeks because I took it seriously. I've had pneumonia. That means you have a predisposition to get pneumonia for the rest of your life. And I don't mess around with it. But I am well. I feel almost 100% again. There are people out there, they never get well. And they're out there spreading this to all these other people. And in the meantime, you're eating all these foods full of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. They've had antibiotics used in the feed, and so you're eating antibiotics. How is this doing in your gut when you eat this stuff? What's happening inside your body when you eat it? I don't know, but it's just like the most undesirable food in the world to me. I have absolutely no desire to eat that. How could I enjoy that when I know where it comes from? I know what happened to that. It's what is a chicken nugget? I think Jamie Oliver showed us it's just the guts and the bones and that. I mean, it's all the crap that you would just like boil and throw away and make bone broth out of, baby. But it's not meat. I go get an organic chicken from my local farmer that I did not have to pay the broker fee, I didn't have to pay the distributor fee, and I did not have to pay for the retail fee. I got my 30-pound turkey that I got from my local farmer was never frozen. It was raised humanely. It was in the sun, so it has vitamin D in it. And then after we got all the meat and everything off of it, I didn't waste one single morsel of it. Boiled all the bones, the skin, any single part that I had, made big giant bags full of broth, and the best gravy in the world. That first broth that came out of the drippings from the turkey, because we cook it in a BPA-free bag, and that made the best gravy in the world. Oh my gosh. But I have all this stuff in the freezer now, and then all of the skin and all the guts and all that, I'm turning that into dog food for my dog. And I am going to have the equivalent probably of about 15 cans of dog food at like $2.50 a piece for organic dog food. I'm going to add some rice to it. I'm going to add like some frozen mixed vegetables or fresh vegetables, some good olive oil. And then the skin and all the oil that was in that turkey is so healthy for my dog, and their skin and their coat. It's like way better than what I'm buying in the can. And I was very impressed with the report that I saw that actually they reported on a lot of the same things we did as far as recycling. But one thing I got from their report that I thought was really important, and that was when they tested all these different foods, dog foods and cat foods, with real animal owners. They gave different people different kinds of food. The one that tested the absolute best was the fresh pet, and that's because fresh fruits and vegetables are good for your dog too. Please don't give them like just dry dog food full of GMOs and pesticides, because it's not organic. At least get organics or one of those brands. And please don't use flea collars. It has an organophosphate on it. It's like the worst pesticide of all. If you want to kill your dog, give them seizures and disease, put a flea collar on them, or flea powder, or flea shampoo. And the same thing they use if you get lice. If your child gets lice, my daughter, for some reason, they loved her. That stuff that you buy in especially the prescription stuff, that has that pesticide in it, that very same pesticide in it. There are so many great products for lice on the market now that that get rid of the lice without that pesticide. Please check those out. Now, I have we've been talking a lot about antibiotic resistance, and I have one product that I'd like to recommend right here that I was pretty excited about. I'm going to spell the name for you. It's Elyptol. Elyptol is what I would think. And here I have they have their natural cleaning wipes. But besides that, they've got the really nice gel. They have a nice little pack right here that you can get. It has all kinds of great stuff in it, including, let's see if this is a 2 fluid ounce. So this works for bringing on the plane. And when you're traveling, a lot of people are traveling right now. I would advise to wear a mask. Who cares? You're on a friggin' plane. Do you care about any of those people on the plane and what they think of you? I would get an antiviral, antibacterial mask that filters out those things. Not that it has chemicals in it, but that it filters out those things, and wear that the entire time. If you go on a plane or if you're out shopping or doing any of these things, I'm telling you, you have to be careful with your hands. Wash your hands. That is the most important public health message. All the time. You go out, you come back into your home, the first thing you do is you wash your hands. okay? And when you're on a plane, a lot of people don't know this, they spray pesticides on planes, on the inside of the plane. After people have deplaned, you have people in there spraying pesticides. And they're doing that because they're trying to kill the germs as well. And whatever else people are bringing on the plane, I guess. So when you're on the plane, be very, very careful about what you're touching. And if you do not touch your face, and just take my advice and try and make an effort to see what you're doing with your hands. People that touch their face all the time and are just antsy like that, they don't know what to do with their hands, you are going to infect yourself by touching your face. And if you are going to touch food, you better have washed your hands before that. I am telling you, this is the number one way to keep from getting sick. You do not want to get what I had. That was brought into my home, not by me, by somebody else. I did not bring it in. But these are the things that it takes to protect yourself from getting infected to begin with. That's what you want. You don't want to have to go through what I went through.
I'm guilty of that myself.
What's that, Nick?
I touch my face all the time.
Do you?
I do. I will say this, though, and I think a lot of it is pure luck. I don't get sick very often. I get sick maybe once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm one of those people.
Have you taken very many antibiotics in your life?
Earlier in life, yeah.
You did, but not after later in life.
Yeah, not after later, no.
Yeah, see, that's one of the reasons you have a strong immune system. Because those people that are taking antibiotics, that's a heavy hit to your entire system. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, Nick, because I learned something this past week that I wanted to share with our listeners so bad. Because we have so many probiotics out there, right? People are like, okay, yeah, I need those antibiotics. And you do, because if you've had, the probiotics, because if you've taken antibiotics, you need to take a probiotic. And I recommend when people are on antibiotics that at hour 4, because you take every 8 hours, you take your antibiotic. So at hour 4, after you took it, take a probiotic. Then, because if you take it at the same time, it's just going to kill it, right? The antibiotic is going to kill the probiotic.
Right.
So you take that at hour 4, and then after you finish your antibiotics, which you're supposed to finish them, then I recommend for people to go for 1 week, every 4 hours, taking a probiotic. If you can afford it, my 2 recommendations are BioK and Lifeway. And the thing is, Align, for example, they're being sued for not having all the probiotics they claim, like, 5 million per dose or billion or whatever per dose. They were lying. And that's because these are the people that were just making like a 1-a-day vitamin. They have no clue about probiotics. They just got into the business because people were buying it and they wanted to get in it and make some cash on it too.
Right.
So they're like, oh yeah, let's get into the probiotic business. They could like be subcontracting with somebody else. You don't even know where it's coming from. These people, like the Lifeway and BioK people, that's all they do. That's what they have been doing for decades, is probiotics, that Yakult or whatever. That's been around for like 50, 60 years. These other people don't know what they're doing. I don't trust them with my gut and my health. I'm getting the best. And that's the 2, the BioK or Lifeway. Now, but I wanted to tell you so what's happening now? Okay. All these people are buying probiotics. People are like fighting back. They're getting healthier. They're getting aware. So out comes this scientific study that says, oh, probiotics are bad. And I'm like, what? That has got to be a bunch of fake news. Okay, so I go read it. I'm like, oh, they're trying to say, oh, this builds up. These bacteria that we're taking in probiotics are building up in our gut and causing this imbalance. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't really seem right to me. So I talked to the experts. I talked to the people at BioK. They started laughing when I told them about that research report. They told me, Nick, that these probiotics are transient. Probiotics only last like 4 days in your system. That's why you have to continually take them if you really want to keep that level high of building your probiotic populations back up. So I'm like, so it's transient, so it only stays in our system for 4 days. So are you telling me that pH, that maybe this bacteria creates an environment within our gut that it makes it conducive for our good bacteria, the kind that we need more of, that have been hit by the antibiotics, that can then grow and multiply because you've created the perfect environment by having this other bacteria present? And she said that's exactly what happens. So by taking these probiotics, you've now created a perfect environment to grow your own gut bacteria and get it multiplying again. And then this other bacteria leaves. So that's why this study that's saying, oh, you know, people are having this overgrowth from taking probiotics is just a joke, you know, and what they want to do is discourage us. See what I mean? We can't go around thinking that all these people are for us. They want to protect us. They want to keep us from getting sick. You know, I'm listening to the Christmas carols, and I hear Julie Andrews, and I want to start crying because I think about the doctor that operated on her tonsils and, her vocal cords and took away her singing career forever. You know, what about the doctor that took away Joan Rivers? What about the doctor that almost killed someone very close to me by doing a colonoscopy and having their throat closed and them almost die on the table? I mean, the thing is, as soon as we start putting our lives in other people's hands, we're taking a risk. That's why you should do everything you possibly can to have control of your own body's health. And you do that by just taking some simple things. Trust me, I'm not going to give you guys recommendations where it's going to cost you a friggin' arm and a leg to keep it up. Because I don't live wealthy and have not for a very, very long time, if ever in my lifetime, really. Maybe there was like a short little period where I had a little bit of money, but, you know, it's always a struggle. And so I understand what that's like. I have to come to you with suggestions that are totally financially plausible for someone, even if they're on welfare and food stamps. And something like, okay, the probiotics, they can be expensive. That's why I suggest the BioK is a little bit more expensive, but it's totally worth it because you're getting like 50 billion bacteria. Not just that, but it's guaranteed to the expiration date to have that 50 billion bacteria in it. See, that's the thing. You buy it and, you know, are all the bacteria still there, really, you know? And Lifeway, I mean, those people were like 150 years ago doing probiotics. So, and they even have a radio show. I know the woman that like started that company. She's got her own radio show where she teaches people as well. So, you know, why risk it? Why risk wasting your money by buying something that you have no guarantee and is made by people that don't even like know what they're doing? This is too important. Our gut health is everything. That's why I was able to completely get well. And that to me is like one of the greatest gifts. I tell you, being sick, it really sucks. And guess what? Want to reduce your risk of cancer? Who wants cancer out there? I tell you, I will never forget the screams of that woman with cervical cancer in the hospital when I was doing my internships there as a dietitian. That woman crying in pain just got to me. It still brings tears to my eyes just talking about it. Because she was crying from like the deepest part of her soul with pain from that cancer. Do you think I want that to happen to you? Of course not. I want you to avoid that. Well, guess what? A latest study that just came out. You reduce your risk of cancer 25% by eating organic. Those are damn good odds. Damn good. Don't you want those odds working for you? That's why you go to the farmer's market and go buy your food and see the face of the person that grew that food. And then it gives it even more meaning. You get the freshest stuff. I tell you, they know how to store things. You buy apples, they're a year old. Okay? They're gassing things. They're exposing them to chemicals to keep them from ripening. They're doing so many different things. That farmer is not doing all of that. He is just giving you the food that he just picked like that morning or the day before. How cool is that? And plus, there are all these delivery services now. For like $35 a week, they'll like send you a package full of all seasonal produce. I felt like so stupid. I decided, okay, I'm going to do a Jell-O dish. And it was a pretty good Jell-O. But the thing is, now I forgot what I was going to say about the Jell-O. Anyway, the important thing is that I put all these organic, I put frozen cherries in there. I put frozen blueberries. Oh yeah, now I was going to remember when I put celery. But, we're thinking about putting fresh berries in there. And I don't know what I was thinking, because these are hydroponic berries. They're not in season. They spoiled so quick. They were just total waste of money. Now we have a video, and not that one. The one about the organic. Let's see. I want you guys to understand. There are some compromising things happening to our organic certification system with our food. These hydroponic products are getting in. We have people taking action against that because organic equals soil, not hydroponic. Okay, what do we got, Nick? Do we have, that
The frustrating thing, I think, to everybody who has been organic for a long time is that organic policymakers don't know what organic is anymore.
Fertile soil has always been the foundation of organic farming. But in recent years, the USDA has changed all that by allowing large-scale certification of vegetables and berries grown hydroponically without any soil at all. Organic farmers protested this failure in 2015. A year later, a much larger rally in Vermont with hundreds of farmers and eaters called on the USDA to keep organic farming based in the soil.
Who's got soil?
I know the fight that I had to go through to get the original organic farm legislation through. I want organic to mean organic to mean organic. Would you agree with that?
Then you've got folks out there, including in Big Ag, who want a free ride and basically get the benefit of the hard work that organic farmers do to pile on and take some of that market share with a label that wasn't earned.
In case you don't know, there are 1,200 lobbyists on the Hill that work for the agriculture and food processing industry. They spend about $350 million a year on forming opinions in Washington, and that's more than the defense industry, so don't underestimate their power.
We, the creators, refuse to see the promise of organic farming compromised by profiteers. We won before, and we will win again.
You know, we have a right to this term organic. We have a right. I have a right. I've been doing this all my goddamn life, And I have a right to that continuity. And this hydroponic bullshit is like, I mean, it's a perversion.
The 40 years that I've been involved in organic farming, I'm not willing to let this group of people take it away.
As organic standards have been eroded and even ignored, the movement to protect organic has grown. In 2017, there were 15 rallies to promote real organic practices all across North America. The rallies were a call to action to reclaim strong standards based on traditional organic farming. Ignoring earlier recommendations and world standards, the USDA has sided with industry and embraced soilless production as organic. Hundreds of millions of dollars of hydro berries and vegetables grown without any soil or any means of identification are currently being certified and sold as organic each year.
Without soil, it's not organic.
As an urban ag grower myself and a person that works very closely and advocates for people who grow in the city, I am staunchly in support of anyone who's stewarding soil.
Soil has always been the foundation of organic growing. So I think in a lot of important ways, soil represents the history of organic. But I think it's also important to remember that healthy soil, as one of the keys to reversing climate change, should be the future of organic as well.
Right.
Regardless of, what's going on with big business, we have to own that word and keep the spirit of it.
We've always said that organic is not based on input substitution. Well, hydroponic is totally input dependency.
You're getting a watered down crop and you have no idea.
Our relationship to the soil and our relationship to place is the key to this whole thing.
Organic without soil and without all the microorganisms of the soil is like democracy without people. It just doesn't work.
Well, here we are, and we're not going to stop until everybody in this world knows that organic farmers farm in soil. It's the only way you can be an organic farmer.
The rallies were also protesting confinement feeding operations for meat, milk, and eggs. These CAFOs are now being passed off as organic farms to unsuspecting eaters.
As a mom, I've always really counted on that organic label, so I know what I'm feeding my children.
If the new animal welfare standards were implemented, 3/4 of the certified organic eggs in America would be decertified.
Small farms cannot compete with, quote, organic egg farms housing 2 million hens in 10 industrial-sized warehouses with only the most cynical description of outdoor access to offer. At the rallies, over 50 organic leaders spoke out, calling on the USDA to protect real organic. They pointed to the widespread loss of integrity of the USDA organic program, which permits hydroponics, factory farming of animals, and massive imports of fraudulently certified grain.
That's 66% of the imported grain since May of 2016, based on that sample, that has been total fraud, and the NOP seems to have a problem finding the ships.
In November of 2017, farmers and eaters from all over the country testified to the National Organic Standards Board in Jacksonville, Florida. They called on them to keep the soil inorganic.
And when the consumer loses confidence in the brand, the sales go down.
We say let the hydroponics production method develop its own marketing label based on the merits of their system, not ride the coattails of a successful label that doesn't match their methods or goals.
Despite the amazing turnout, the Standards Board failed to prohibit hydroponics in the organic standards. This historic decision revealed the growing split between the USDA and the organic community. What happens next is up to us. As the USDA attempts to redefine organic, we won't back down.
I don't see anybody in this room that is opposed to hydroponics that's going away. Are any of you guys going away? I don't think so. We're here for the long haul.
Learn the many ways you can help to protect organic. Go to realorganicproject.org.
realorganicproject.org, and look for the new Rodale Institute. We have a new sustainable organic, sustainable regenerative organic label. Okay, look for those three words: regenerative, sustainable, and organic. And that label is the label that we can trust going forward, because that meets all the certifications of the kind of system that actually reverses climate change. Yes. That's why organic is so important, because it helps sequester the carbon into the soil versus the way that we've been doing it. And we know that just in the past week, there was a major climate change report that came out. We have 12 years, people, to stop burning and using all of this oil. Dr. Norhaus, who just received a Nobel Prize, has a suggestion for us. It is a carbon tax. And we have to start talking about carbon tax. We have to talk about carbon tax, talk about carbon tax, talk about carbon tax, because carbon tax is what's going to save our booties, okay? And we need to listen to our scientists. This man has been studying this for decades and just got the Nobel Prize. Let's hear him getting his Nobel Prize, the announcement.
Oh, hello. May I speak with William Nordhaus, please?
Yes, see.
My name is Adam Smith. I'm calling from nobelprize.org, which is the website of the Nobel Prize in Stockholm.
Ah, good morning.
Good morning. Well, congratulations on the award of the Prize in Economic Sciences.
Thank you.
How did the news actually reach you?
The news reached me when one of my children called, actually a few minutes ago. We were asleep, and then we woke up, the phones were ringing, and talked to my daughter.
What a lovely way for the news to come.
Yes, it was. It's a very nice way.
It's a striking coincidence that the news of your prize comes on the same day that we're hearing about the IPCC special report highlighting the enormous transformations that are going to be needed if we're going to keep within reasonable temperature rises.
If you called on almost any day, there will be a story somewhere in the newspaper, in the science journals, in the economic journals about climate change and its causes and its impacts. And that's a sign of its ubiquitous nature. So I know this is a report. It's a useful report, and it's collecting together what we have been studying and learning over the last, actually, 30 or 40 years. And it's an important reminder of the dangers we face and the things that need to be done.
And does your work make you hopeful that we can do what needs to be done?
I'd say my most recent work has made me somewhat concerned about the fact that we're doing so little. The most recent work I've done is studying actual trends in abatement and in policies suggest we're doing much less than needs to be to reach any of the targets, whether it's a 1.5 degree or 2 degree or even a 3 degree target. I think the policies are lagging very, very far, miles behind the science and the need to what needs to be done. So it's hard to be optimistic, and also we've fallen behind because of the policies. We're actually going backwards in the United States with the disastrous policies of the Trump administration. So I'd say I never use the word pessimism. I always use the word realism, but it's a kind of dark realism today.
Yeah, and it's not just the United States that may be pulling out of these accords. There are others on the horizon.
Yeah, different places are doing different things, but it's not too late. But the steps we have to take are more difficult now than if we'd started earlier.
And would you highlight one thing as being the single most important thing for people to do?
Well, the first thing is that people have to come to grips with the difficulties we face. I think the scientists have, and many of the people have, but the governments have to. And then the second thing that's most important is that we take some kind of economic steps. I have advocated for many years a carbon tax as a way of implementing policies. And then the third thing is we'll have to have a significant technological transformation. Of course, those first two would help the third, but those three have to go together. You can't do it without public support, but you can't do it without some kind of economic signals in the form of a carbon tax. And then all of those will help induce the technological changes that are necessary to make a transition to a low-carbon world.
Mm. And all that is difficult enough to achieve if you believe that this is what needs to be done. But if you don't believe, goodness, where do you start?
Well, as I said, that's the first thing. You can't do it without the public awareness. I think actually we've had a fair amount of progress on public awareness if you look at what the surveys suggest and what people say. I think it's actually the governments are lagging behind the people here.
Yeah. I do want to just ask, what was your daughter's reaction when she told you the news?
Oh, she said, "This is so nice."
Says it all.
She said. I can't capture the tone of voice. It was a very sweet announcement.
I think it probably goes down as one of the best.
Yeah.
We very much look forward to welcoming you to Stockholm in December. So,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Once again, congratulations.
Yes, everyone. That was Dr. Norhaus, and he won the Nobel Prize just recently this year, just last month in October. Well, I guess it's been a little, well, not quite. Yeah, it was still last month. October is when he received this Nobel Prize. And the carbon tax he's talking about is that when people are pumping out carbon, like all these coal-burning plants that this multi-billionaire owns and has absolutely no desire of cleaning the pollution that he's creating, you charge a tax for that carbon that he is creating, which then is passed on. Either he does it or you know, he either is going to pass it on to his customers, which he's probably not going to want to do, or he's going to have to eat it. Well, the guy's like worth multi-billion dollars, so I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. But what it does is it starts to push change. That is what the way we are going to get change to happen is we have to make these things more expensive so it's negative reinforcement, and we're like, hey, maybe we can come up with a better way, and it forces people to come up with a better way. Now we're going to play one other video here that kind of it's going to help explain global warming in maybe a different sense that maybe might add to what you already know.
The climate is changing. Extreme weather is disrupting livelihoods and food supplies around the world. This is observed. This is documented. This is the scientific community's consensus. The climate is changing. Carbon emissions are driving that change. Emissions come from burning fossil fuels. So if we want to slow or even reverse the change, we must lower our fossil fuel use. By charging a fee on fossil fuels, and returning that revenue to households as a dividend, we can do just that, starting a chain of positive effects. Fossil fuels become less desirable. Cleaner sources of energy become more competitive. The dividend creates millions of jobs. Carbon emissions go down, reduced air pollution saves tens of thousands of lives, and climate change is brought under control. We can make this happen. But enacting a carbon fee and dividend isn't in our hands, it's in theirs. How do we sway them? What can we do? We can use our voices to express political will and demand action. We must help our elected leaders work together. It's on us to tell them what we want as a group. Because when voices call out together, their impact multiplies. Government can respond to the will of the people, provided we tell the government what we want. And what we want is a livable world. This is what Citizens Climate Lobby works for. To empower citizens to connect with and influence their members of Congress. To spread the idea that each one of us can address climate change. Bring your voice to citizensclimatelobby.org.
citizensclimatelobby.org. And these are real people, just like all the rest of us, that are getting together and going down and talking to their legislators because, like they said, the people, we get it, but the government is behind us. They're not implementing the policies that are going to help save us. So we've got to start taking action, and we've got to take this knowledge that we have and start to educate them. But we can do it, okay? But the climate tax, the carbon tax, I just said we're going to charge the multi-billionaire that's polluting the air and causing this problem. They're going to have to pay. And the money that goes into this fund, this carbon tax fund, they take away the administrative costs, and all the money that's left is distributed to every single American. We all get a dividend check in our mailbox, money that goes to us that we can then go spend to help stimulate the economy. And this whole process is going to create new jobs because we're going to start finding new ways to take care of and solve these problems that we have. So this is how we can start. This is the first step, and I recommend that everyone go and check out these great the Citizens Climate Lobby, and then please go check out the Real Organic Project as well. And all of these things will start contributing to taking us down the path to a cleaner planet where our children are going to be able to live. When we're talking 12 years before everything starts falling apart, massive crop failures, loss of water, just so many different things, burning of California. How do you think our kids feel hearing this? They're looking to us. They're like, you did this to us. Don't you love us? Don't you care about us? Don't you want to have a place to live where we can raise our kids and live? Kids are scared right now. They're getting this, okay? They're not stupid. They're in college. They're in school. They're getting this stuff. How do you think that they feel about what we're doing to them? That's why we have to start taking the initiative and learning more ourselves and going and talking to we can make one phone call and leave a message even. It will take you like 2 minutes to call your legislator, and they'll take your message. Or you can go down and be a part of these groups and go down to Sacramento or go and meet with our local legislators. This is how we make it. This is how we make change happen, everyone. And I just really want to thank you for tuning in to Smart Health Talk. And I'm so excited. I got my wholesome candy canes here, all organic candy canes. And please try to make this an organic Christmas, okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Elaine McFadden. All this goes up, podcasts on iHeartRadio, and go check us out on YouTube and our website and Facebook and social media and our BlueMonarchProject.com. Bye.
Sign me up now. Make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.